Greetings to all freedom-loving friends around the world. Welcome to an open letter to the SEC episode Chapter 1. Why I made this investment decision. This article shares the author's viewpoints as a GTV investor regarding who Mr. Miles Guo is, what the new federal state of China is, why the CCP is the biggest threat to the US and the world. The CCP is the root cause of all disasters. The Chinese people are not equal to the CCP. An open letter to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Author, Renee Lee, March 31, 2023. To whom it may concern. In April 2020, I invested in GTV Media Group Incorporated during its first private placement. However, shortly after, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission launched an ongoing investigation against GTV Media Group. GTV Media Group fully cooperated with the SEC, spending over $5 million to present over 1,000 legal documents. The SEC had even taken company cell phones which contained chat records of its investors. Despite all this, the SEC collaborated with the local Chinese police and dispatched its law enforcement officers to China to detain GTV investors. These investors were then coerced to commit perjury, with threats of imprisonment, disappearance, or even execution of themselves, their family members, and relatives on charges of conspiring with foreign powers and selling out their country. Having gone through almost 17 months of so-called investigation, on 9/13/2021, the SEC instituted and simultaneously settled cease and desist proceedings against GTV Media Group Incorporated, and took a fine of $539 million for this settlement, given that there were an absolute zero wrongdoings by the GTV Media Group. 4 months after the settlement, on January 31, 2022, the SEC published a notice of the proposed distribution plan. The proposed plan provided that the distribution of the fair funds shall be made to those investors who purchased the eligible securities during the relevant and suffered recognized losses. 2 months later, on April 7, 2022, the SEC issued an order approving the proposed plan of distribution and posted the approved plan of distribution. 5 months later, on August 12, 2022, the SEC issued an order approving the disbursement of $77,915,851.58 from the Fair Fund for distribution to eligible investors. In summary, the SEC spent 17 months gathering evidence of perjury and successfully recovered $539 million. They then spent another 12 months devising a distribution plan that allocated less than 10% of the total investment amount. Currently, only 5% of investors have received half of their investment funds, and 95% of the investors' money is still held by the SEC without indicating when it will be dispersed. Shockingly, on March 15, 2023, over 100 FBI agents raided Mr. Miles Guo's residence on the 18th floor of the Sherry Netherland Hotel in New York City and took him to court after over an hour-long interrogation and body search. On the same day, the SEC announced charges against Mr. Miles Guo. All of the SEC's allegations against Mr. Miles Guo were unfounded. As an investor and a U.S. citizen, I'm extremely disappointed and indignant towards the SEC's investigation process, their use of forced perjury, the delayed disbursement of funds, and blatantly lying by the SEC during the past 3 years. I want to share the following viewpoints regarding my investment in the GTV Media Group, why I made this investment decision, the brilliant achievements of the GTV platform, the significance of the new federal state of China to the Chinese people, the significance of the new federal state of China to the world, the world's recognition of the new federal state of China. Questions 2. The SEC. Chapter 1. Why I made this investment decision. Chapter 1. Section 1. Human rights, freedom, and equality. First, I made this investment decision because of my passion and faith in fundamental human rights, freedom, and equality. Human rights are innate. Human rights are unalienable. No human being takes them by any earthly force without giving offense to God. Every human is to have equality, opportunity, and fairness. Every human is entitled to the right to live equally, have liberty, and pursue happiness. Every human has the right to access information and knowledge to control their destiny and evolve at their chosen level. Chapter 1. Section 2. Mr. Miles Guo. I made this investment decision because of my highest reverence, profound admiration, hearty gratitude, and absolute faith in Mr. Miles Guo. Mr. Miles Guo initiated the unprecedented global whistleblower movement on January 26, 2017. He has been relentlessly exposing the gruesome crimes that the Chinese Communist Party has committed against the Chinese people. In addition, he has been vigorously warning the world of the CCP's evil plans to take over the world and destroy America. Mr. Miles Guo fearlessly stands out as one of the most courageous whistleblowers, shedding light on the darkest spot on our planet, Beijing, China, the residence of the cruelest tyranny, the Chinese Communist Party. He is committed to saving the Chinese people and the world. 34 years ago, In 1989, Mr. Miles Guo supported the Tiananmen Square protest movement and was subsequently arrested. After being taken away, police attempted to kill his wife and child, but his younger brother shielded them and was fatally shot. He was severely bleeding and was taken to several local hospitals, but none dared to take him, not even providing essential treatment to stop the bleeding. After 2 days, he passed away from the injuries, 1 week away from his 18th birthday. During his 22-month imprisonment, Mr. Miles Guo was beaten unconscious numerous times for refusing to kneel to the authorities. He was forced to breathe in hair clippings from a plastic bag tied around his head, which caused lasting damage to his lungs. He resorted to eating cotton to survive for months. Moreover, he witnessed the execution of dozens of his hero inmates, who had been arrested because of taking part in the Tiananmen Square protests. As a result, Mr. Miles Guo pledged to seek justice for his brother's murder, to fight against the unjust actions of the Chinese Communist Party, and to dismantle their rule. On January 26, 2017, Mr. Miles Guo blew the first whistle on the Chinese Communist Party's brutal crimes and evil conspiracies after preparing for 28 years. Since then, he has fearlessly exposed the CCP daily and united righteous forces worldwide to confront this dangerous authoritarian regime. Although his whistleblower journey to end the CCP is extremely risky and unpredictable, it is most desperately needed for justice and humanity. The beam of truth lit by Mr. Miles Guo has been gradually illuminating the world. Finally, more and more Chinese people woke up to the fact that they had been deceived, robbed, and kidnapped for 74 years. More and more people worldwide have realized that the CCP is the greatest invasive threat to their people and countries. More and more people have finally come to the point of recognizing the absolute necessity of expunging this evil demon. Extremely frightened of the whistleblower movement, the Chinese Communist Party has seized Mr. Miles Guo's bank accounts and expropriated his assets of more than $100 billion in China and Hong Kong, plus his mansions, including one in Hong Kong valued at over $600 million. The CCP has also arrested and tortured his family, relatives, and previous employees. Despite this, Mr. Miles Guo has not capitulated. The CCP has been willing to pay any ransom to exchange for Mr. Miles Guo via international extradition. In the meantime, it has been trying every means of harassment, threats, 76 ongoing lawsuits in the US, and enticements to silence him. Protected by the Holy Spirit, Mr. Miles Guo has been carrying out his God-given mission firmly, to completely extirpate the Chinese Communist Party for justice, humanity, and human survival. Mr. Miles Guo's unshakable belief in justice, unquestionable integrity, complete honesty, undying love, loyalty, passion for his fellow beings, his selfless dedication, iron willpower, exceptional perseverance, infinite wisdom, intelligence, sensitivity, discernment, and judgment, ability to create, fascinating life experiences, inspiring leadership, charismatic personality, sincere humbleness, uncanny eloquence, prodigious memory, accumulated credibility, resources, and connections have attracted 600 million followers worldwide who resonate with him for the same goal of taking down the CCP. Chapter 1. Section 3. Truth. I made this investment decision because of my passion for spreading the truth and promoting free speech and human rights. In America, there has been a growing realization that mainstream media and big tech are conspiring to stifle freedom of speech unconstitutionally. They spread misinformation, suppress the truth, and manipulate their audience using misleading information. For a long time, mainstream media and big tech have consistently disseminated the same propaganda. If we trace to the root, it's not hard to find that they have been fed by the same source, the Chinese Communist Party. Why do mainstream media and big tech become the CCP's propaganda machine and drill the CCP's fabrication into the American people? Why do mainstream media and big tech kowtow to the CCP, passing over the people's interests and the country? There has always been only one reason. It's all about money. The CCP's bloody hand has fed both mainstream media and big tech with a humongous amount of dirty money. The CCP has successfully brought those American traitors to their knees with its series of blue gold yellow, BGY, tactics of bribery, blackmail, and corruption maneuvers. There is a saying, truth and only truth can set us free. However, the question is, where do people get the truth? At these crucial times for humanity, the GTV platform emerged as a critical component of the whistleblower movement, which aims to disseminate the truth, liberate the people, and eradicate the root of all evil, the Chinese Communist Party. To be continued. This is the end of the first chapter episode. Thank you for watching. See you at the next one. Bye now.